Dear friends, Pinvatani, thank you for joining with us again today to our daily Buddha Puja, Parita chanting, Dhamma reflection and meditation. So during this Vas retreat, or during this retreat, rains retreat that monks observe, it is a tradition that devotees take the most out of it as well to perform meritorious deeds as well as to enhance their knowledge and practice in the Dhamma. So we at the London Mindfulness Meditation Center has organized a series of religious observances which include the daily program as such until 24th October, so when we hold the robe offering ceremony. So sponsorships are available, and today we've had a kind sponsorship, generous sponsorship of Mrs. Jiva and Mr. Sarat Ekanayake, who wish to transfer or share merit with the departed parents, sisters and brothers. They would also like to bless their daughter Dinuki, Graham, and granddaughter Rania, so Dinuki and partner Graham, and then granddaughter Rania, as well as their daughter Diluka and son-in-law Chaminda, and granddaughters Lily and Esme, and also to bless her brother Mangala, so to bless all of the family members with good health, happiness, success and prosperity. So with the kind intentions, they have sponsored today's Puja, worship and chanting and Dhamma sermon. So we bless everyone from here, the blessings of the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, for your good health and happiness. So as usual, we will start with observing 5 precepts, and then we will do Buddha Puja, and then listen to a short reflection of the Dhamma and meditate until 8 o'clock. So you can direct your friends, if they do not have Facebook, to lmmc.online on YouTube, so our YouTube channel, lmmc.online. So please join us, and do remember that these stanzas are in Pali, and then after that we will do a reflection on Dhamma in English at 7 o'clock. So please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times to observe 5 precepts. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Pānātipātā vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Adinādāna vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. තිසරණේන සද්ධින් පංචශීලං ධම්මං අපමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විජ්ජාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරථි සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති. බුද්ධං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි. යේච බුද්ධා අතීතා ච යේච බුද්ධා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නා ච යේ බුද්ධා අහං වන්දාමි සබ්බදා. නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං බුද්ධෝ මේ සරණං වරං. ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං. උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං පාදපං සවරුත්තමං. බුද්ධේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ බුද්ධෝ කමතු තං මමං. ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සන්දිට්ඨිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතම්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝහීති. ධම්මං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි. යේච ධම්මා අතීතා ච යේච ධම්මා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නා ච යේ ධම්මා අහං වන්දාමි සම්බදා. නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං ධම්මෝ මේ සරණං වරං. ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං. උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං ධම්මං ච ත්‍රිවිධං වරං. ධම්මේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ ධම්මෝ කමතු තං මමං. සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචිපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ. යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුග්ගලා ඒස භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ. ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණීයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං ලෝකස්සාති සංඝං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි යේච සංඝා අතීතාච යේච සංඝා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නාච යේ සංඝා අහං වන්දාමි සබ්බදා නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං සංඝෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං සංඝං ච ත්‍රිවිධෝත්තමං සංඝේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ සංඝෝ කමතු තං මමං කනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදං සිනා තිලෝක දීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං ගන්ධ සම්භාර යුත්තේන ධූපේනාහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයන්තං පූජා භාජනමුත්තමං වන්නගන්ධ ගුණපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ච හෝතු මොක්ඛං පුප්පං විලායාති යතයි ධම්මේ කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ පානීයං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ සබ්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බඨානේ සුපතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධිං බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සබ්බාරි විජයං අකා පත්තෝ සබ්බඤ්ඤතං සත්තා වන්දේතං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාථේන පූජිතා අහං පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධිරාජා නමත්තුතේ කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං khමමේ භන්තේ භූරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං khමමේ ධම්ම සම්දිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං khමමේ සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර එත්තාවතා ච අම්හෙහි සම්භතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සම්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එත්තාවතා ච අම්හෙහි සම්භතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එත්තාවතා ච අම්හෙහි සම්භතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu samba dukkha pamuncatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So you have been joining to our daily Buddha Puja, chanting and Dhamma sermon and meditation. So 4 items as religious observance, especially during this lockdown time, for you to participate from home. Every evening, if you practice regularly, engage with the Dhamma and listen to Dhamma sermon, it is quite beneficial so that we can transform our way of thinking and living, and then maintain the peace of mind which we always look for. So during this bus retreat, as I said earlier, we have organized this until October 24th, and today the sponsors, Mrs. Jiva and Mr. Sarat Ekanayake, have made it possible for you to participate online from home and wherever you are. They came to the temple, made offerings and to the Buddha, and also offerings and requests to the temple. Intention is to share merit with departed parents, sisters and brothers. So may all the merit accumulated be conducive for their well-being wherever they are. May they receive our blessings and rejoice in our religious ceremonies today, and make their lives happy and peaceful wherever they are, and eventually attain the blissful state of Nibbana. Furthermore, Jiva and Sarat would like to bless their daughter Dinuki and her partner Graham and granddaughter Rania, and also daughter Dulika and son-in-law Chandima and granddaughters Lilian Esme, and also brother Mangala for good health, happiness, success and prosperity. So may every righteous aspirations be fulfilled. May you have peace of mind, and may you enjoy good health, especially in this lockdown time. So with those kind intention, as always, we chant Ratana Sutta. Now this discourse is a discourse particularly uttered by the Buddha when there was similar pandemic during his time in a city called Visala. And when people approached the Buddha, he recited these verses, and it is recorded that after Venerable Ananda chanted this and sprinkled water and blessed the city, everything became norm. So it turned to normality, and people started recovering quickly, not just physically but also mentally. So we dedicate this to everyone who is ill, as well as any family who've been affected by COVID-19. May you all have speedy recovery, and may you enjoy good health. We also dedicate this, as usual, to our key workers and the NHS staff, especially doctors and nurses who work tirelessly for the well-being of others, especially taking care of all patients, including COVID-19 and their families. So may they have more courage and determination to continue their valuable services to the nation and to COVID-19 and other patients. So may you all be happy, peaceful, and enjoy good health. So we chant especially for your well-being, for your happiness, for your good health. So if you are ill or suffering from any illness, may you have speedy recovery. May the blessings of the Buddha be upon you for every step in your life. So with those kind intention, we are going to chant Paritta. So please listen to the chanting with great attention and respect. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Saggamokkadang Parittasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Parittasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Dhamma Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Yani Bhutani Samagatani Bhummani Vayani Vayantalikhe Sabbeva Bhuta Sumana Bhavantu Atopi Sakkacca Sunantu Bhasitam Tasmahi Bhutani Sametha Sabbe Mettam Karotha Manusiya Pajaya Divacharato Cha Haranti Ye Baling Tasmahi Nirakkata Appamatta Yankinchi Vittang Idhava Hurang Va Sagge Suvayang Ratanang Panitang Nano Samang Atti Tathagaten Idampi Buddhe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Kayang Viragang Amatang Panitang Yadajjaga Sakya Muni Samahito Natena Dhammena Samatti Kinchi Idampi Dhamme Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Yang Buddha Settho Parivannai Suching Samadhimanantari Kanyamahu Samadhina Tena Samona Vicchati Idampi Dhamme Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Ye Puggala Attha Satang Pasattha Chattari Etani Yugani Honti Te Dakkhineya Sugatasya Savaka Te Sudinnani Mahappalani Idampi Sanghe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Ye Suppayutta Manasa Dalhena Nikkamino Gotama Sasanam Hi Te Patti Patta Amatang Vigaiha Laddha Mudha Nibbuting Bhunjamana Idampi Sanghe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Yathinda Kilo Pathaving Sitosiya Chatubhivate Bhiya Sampakampiyo Tathupamang Sappurisang Vadami Yo Ariya Satchani Avecce Passati Idampi Sanghe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Ye Ariya Satchani Vibhavayanti Gambhira Panyena Sudesitani Kincapi Te Honti Busappamatta Nate Bhavang Attamang Adiyanti Idampi Sanghe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvatti Hotu Sahavassa Dassana Sampadaya Tayassu Dhamma Jahita Bhavanti Sakkaya Ditthi Vichikicchitanca Silabbatang Vapi Yadatti Kinchi චතුහ පායේහි ච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාබිඨානානි අබබ්බෝ කාතුං ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කිංචාපි සෝකම්මං කරෝති පාපකං කායේන වාචා උදචේතසාවා අභබ්බෝසෝ තස්ස පටිච්ඡාදාය අභබ්බතා දිට්ඨ පදස්ස බුත්තා ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වනප්පගුම්බේ යථා පුස්සිතග්ගේ ගිම්හාන මාසේ පඨමස්මින් ගිම්හේ තථපමං ධම්මවරං අදේශයි නිබ්බානගාමින් පරමං හිතාය ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වරෝ වරඤ්ඤෝ වරදෝ වරාහරෝ අනුත්තරෝ ධම්මවරං අදේශයි ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කීනං පුරාණං නවං නත්ති සම්භවං විරත්ත චිත්තා ආයතිකේ භවස්මින් තේඛීන බීජා අවිරුල් හිච්ඡන්දා නිබ්බන්ති ධීරා යථායං පදීපෝ ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යානීද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං බුද්ධං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානීද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං ධම්මං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානීද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං සංඝං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන දුක්ඛාවූපසමින්තු තේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන භයාවූපසමින්තු තේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගාවූපසමින්තු තේ එවං මේ සුතං ඒකං සමයං භගවා රාජගහේ විහෙරති වේලුවනේ කලන්දක නිවාපේ තේන කෝපන සමයේන ආයස්මා මහා කස්සපෝ පිප්ඵලී ගුහායන් විහෙරති ආබාධිකෝ දුක්ඛිතෝ බාල්හ ගිලානෝ අතකෝ භගවා සායන්හ සමයං පතිසල්ලානා වුට්ඨිතෝ ඒනායස්මා මහා කස්සපෝ තේනුපසංකමී උපසංකමිත්වා පඤ්ඤත්තේ ආසනේ නිසීදී නිසජ්ජකෝ භගවා ආයස්මන්තං මහා කස්සපං ඒතදවෝච කච්චිතේ කස්සප කමනීයං කච්චි යාපනීයං කච්චි දුක්ඛා වේදනා පටික්කමන්තිනෝ අභික්කමන්ති පටික්කමෝසානං පඤ්ඤායතිනෝ අභික්කමෝති නමේ භන්තේ කමනීයං නයාපනීයං බල්හාමි දුක්ඛා වේදනා අභික්කමන්තිනෝ පටික්කමන්ති අභික්කමෝසානං පඤ්ඤායතිනෝ පටික්කමෝති සත්තිමේ කස්සප බොජ්ජංගා මයා සම්මදක්ඛාතා භාවිතා බහුලීකතා අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තන්ති කතමේ සත්ත සති සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ කස්සප මයා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ පාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති Dhamma vicaya sambojjhango kho kassapa maya sammadakkahato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati viriya sambojjhango kho kassapa maya sammadakkahato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati pīti sambojjhango kho kassapa maya sammadakkahato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati passaddi sambojjhango kho kassapa maya sammadakkahato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati samadhi sambojjhango kho kassapa maya sammadakkahato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati upekha sambojjhango kho kassapa maya sammadakkahato bhavito bahulikato abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattati ime kho kassapa satta bojjhanga maya sammadakkhata bhavita bahulikata abhinyaya sambodhaya nibbanaya samvattanti ti tanga bhagava bojjhanga tagga sugata bojjhangati idamavoca bhagava attamano ayasma mahakassapo bhagavato bhasitan abhinandi utthahi chayasma mahakassapo tamha abadaha tathapahino chayasmato mahakassapassaso abadho ahositi etena sacca vajjena dukkhavupasamentu te etena sacca vajjena bhayavupasamentu te etena sacca vajjena rogavupasamentu te devo vassatu kalena sassa sampatti hetu ca pito bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu dhamma desanang akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu loka sasanang akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu mang paranti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So the chanting for good health, blessing, happiness was sponsored by Jiva and Sarat Ekanayake. So they would like their daughters, Dinuki and Dulika. So Dinuki and her partner Graham and Rania, granddaughter, as well as Dulika and son-in-law Chaminda and granddaughters Lily and Esme, and also Mrs. Jiva Ekanayaka's brother Mangala. So we wish them good health, happiness, success and prosperity. So may the blessings be conducive for your well-being and every happiness, as well as all of you in this online community. May you be well, happy and peaceful. May the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha be upon you for your good health. And if you are ill, may you gain a speedy recovery. May you be well, happy and peaceful. Okay, sadhu, sadhu. So, if you have just joined us or This is the online broadcast of our evening puja, chanting, Dhamma reflection and meditation. So now we are going to go to our series of Dhamma talks. So if you have not joined us before, we are taking some advices recorded in the book called Dhammapada. So the advice is given to people, monks, or even referring to incidents when the Buddha generally gave advice. They were collected and put in a book called Dhammapada. It's got about 423 verses, not in the order as it is, but has been categorized into certain chapters, about 26. And we've started from the beginning to reflect, so we'll continue this until October 24th. So last 2 days we reflected on a verse that talks about your personal actions or personal performance. So I will not read the Pali Gatha, but will read just the meanings again, so that you know where we are, what we are talking about. So a person grieves here and hereafter. So hereafter means because the belief of rebirth and rebecoming is in Buddhism. So hereafter means person does not just grieve here, but also hereafter. And if the person has been an evildoer, means a person who always does wrong things with wicked and evil mind. Okay, and looking at his or her own impurity of own action, this person will always suffer every moment in life. So this was to do with referring to a pork butcher who used to kill pigs throughout his lifetime, and eventually, gradually, started to suffer towards the end of his life. And during the Buddha's time, so this incident was taken, and Buddha told that this is where and how he has suffered, and for the reason of his own personal evil actions, he has suffered in this life and also in future, because he was born in a woeful state after death. So that was day for yesterday. So yesterday we reflected on the positive side, the opposite of it. So a person who does good things always with good heart, pure intention, will rejoice, will be happy and pleasant this life and hereafter. So the opposite. So we focused a lot on the word purity of intentions and the actions that one possibly could do, or even the words one possibly could say. And therefore, when person looks back, or even reflects on his or her own thoughts, actions, and deeds and words, will rejoice. Will always be pleasant and happy. So a complete opposite of the previous stanza. So this was about a person who has done lots of good deeds, without any hooks or hidden agenda, just completely altruistic, compassionately had done many good deeds. And because it was done on a daily basis, it had become a habitual pattern, so that when a person does some good things habitually, as we know scientifically, the retention rate, or the top level of the consciousness, always brings and reminds the person of his or her own action, and therefore is always pleasant and happy throughout. So when we reflected on that yesterday, we looked at the type of actions or events that a person could do with good mindset. So we do know that intention, according to Buddha, is karma. So karma is not about actions or the words itself. It is the intention behind those things. So because you could even, some people might smile. Now that doesn't mean this person was being good, because if the person has a wicked mind, but again just wants to show in the outer outlook and smile, then the intention is still bad though inside. So deep inside, if your mind is in a wrong tone, no matter what you do, some people can do good things, expecting something negative or help someone when we think that helping is good, but sometimes the person might help with wrong intention or hidden agendas. And therefore, the purity of the mind is quite a focus in these gatha or stanzas, and therefore we focused on that yesterday. So when we looked at what are the things that a person could possibly do in the positive side, a good side, so we looked at 3 things yesterday on one category and 10 things in the other category. So we call that a meritorious deed. So when it is a merit, someone will really rejoice and be happy throughout. So you can, a merit is something that you can be pleased that you have done and you'd be doing throughout as well. So you can see that, there were 3 things we referred to. One is called it's called 3 meritorious deeds. Okay, 3 meritorious deeds. When we look at that, so the first one is generosity. So being able to give charity things or charitable things. If a person is not pure in his or her own mindset, a person who is stingy is always perhaps unable to do good things because we have a different mindset. Someone who can actually free himself or herself from what a person may possess or even think of is slowly thinking about other people as well. So when you think of the other people, you are normally in a different mindset. Okay, so we are talking about the mindsets here. If someone is stingy, a person can really be from greediness to grumpiness to ego. But that doesn't mean, if you save it for yourself, you are a selfish person, or you need savings, you need to have it for yourself. But in the last few days, we also decided, we also looked into what are the needs and wants that we may have in life. Wants means always an extra or thing that you could possess. So we sort of looked into what brings these sort of thought processes, and in Buddhism, when someone is in a negative state of mind, we say that it is the greed, it is the attachment rather than the need. Okay, so it is the attachment which makes someone's action or thoughts or words unwholesome or negative. We don't use the word sin because there is no one to punish, but we call it a wrong deed or wrong speech. So we use the word wrong in terms of the opposite of right. Okay, so I think sin comes from a theistic context, and we are not looking at punishments here. It is not a commandment that you should or you must do this. Whereas in Buddhism, it is quite an open, context, because it is you yourself that is in the situation, and you yourself can manage and control this. So therefore, if a person is thinking beyond the need, or it is sometimes quite perhaps the intrinsic human nature of attachment, and this is the cause of suffering according to Buddhism. So we looked into dana or generosity quite differently yesterday, and so I'd like to focus on this concept of being able to free yourself so that you have a peace of mind and you live peacefully with each other, and you can generate harmony within yourselves as brothers or sisters, or as a husband or wife, or partner and spouses, or parents and children, or family. The ability to free yourself is really a good stepping stone to develop other qualities that is quite important in a good and harmonious living, even if it is a social or international level, or from we can think about this ability to free. So as you all know, the ability to be free is quite highly highlighted in the Buddhist term letting go. Okay, So if you are children, you might remember the Frozen's theme song, Let It Go, Let It Go. So Buddha taught us that we need to release ourselves, let it go, in the things that actually bother you, okay, things that bother you. So when you look at those unwholesome roots that I said earlier, like we have 3 unwholesome roots that actually becomes the trigger points for all the negative things, which is greed, then the second one is hate, and the third one is ignorance, or the ability to not understand, which then makes us deluded in accepting the wrong things as right. So these are the 3 things that actually corrupt or make a person's mind in the negative zone. So it is always in the red zone, because if you are greedy, if you are selfish, if you are egoistic, if you have a personal fixed views, we sometimes hook into these things. So in Buddhism, what we say is this attachment slowly will become to a different level called clinging. Okay, so attachment is greed, but we should not cling. Okay, so we like things, but we should not cling on to it. We like things, we like to do this, we like to eat, we like to drink, we like to play, we like to do certain things, but no matter what we do, shouldn't be something that harms yourself or others. If it harms yourself, it is wrong. If it harms others, it is wrong as well. So even if just because you like certain things doesn't mean that you can do because it hurts others. So if it hurts both parties, it is seen something as wrong in Buddhism. Okay, that is the sort of a criteria to decide what is good and what is bad. So when we hold on to something, which means when we cling on to something, then it makes us always pursue that thing. Now we might not cling on physically, so it's sometimes we cling on mentally. So for example, you might have a taste that is in your memory, and you would always look for that. You are clinging on to that taste. You might have had a very good experience of enjoyment, and you cling on to that. When you cling on to that, every moment is spent trying to reach that or trying to have that. Sometimes when you eat certain food, I've used this example quite often, you have a particular taste that you actually cling on to. So when you hook on to that, you never enjoy, no matter the similar type of food, you don't enjoy eating that, because you will always make a comment or criticism. You always criticize, oh, this is not like that, or no, that day when you cooked, that was better. So we always have this sort of criticism when we personally hook into certain experiences. Now this is a mentally created formed problem, or now that taste was long time ago, or that incident was long time ago. We then generally remember that, we put it in our memory bank aside, because we cannot let it go. We cannot we want to indulge ourselves in that same similar entertainment or enjoyment. So no matter what you do at home, watch a film or read a book, sometimes if you start comparing it to one of your previous clingings or previous holdings, we will never enjoy, or we will never be able to do certain things. So the benefit of learning how to be generous is actually helping us to transform our way of or the habitual nature of clinging. So every experience will raise the bar. So if there was a different type of experience, then that will then if that becomes the best, then you always seek that, so it's not about not enjoying, because when we cling, we don't enjoy the present moment. We are always living in that memory. We are always having that memory as a bar which we want to meet, or as an expectation. So being in the present moment is learning how to let go of all those things that happened in the past. Okay, so there's no point in attaching ourselves to those things. There's no point, because it is simply a memory. It might not be available this time because the conditions of that time was completely different. Even if you take the food, for example, the conditions or the ingredients or the availability of certain things made that experience possible. So why are we now comparing what we do now to something when the current conditions are quite different? Okay, so we have to be mindful that we are in a different moment here and now. And if you don't learn how to enjoy this current moment, we are always what we call mentally criticizing or comparing or suffering. So I might use the word suffering here because with our simple likes we can see how much we suffer. Now that is not the only thing that we have to let go, because letting go of certain things that if I ask you to let go of certain things that you like, that is quite easy to do. But a skillful act is the thing that we can think of, letting go of the negative things, things that you don't like. Now that's quite hard. I said yesterday, when even to become the Buddha, the art of giving comes to such an the height that you need to excel that or master that giving or letting go to even become the Buddha. We are all humans, we make mistakes. But if you cling on to and if you don't learn how to let go of the clingings, we will never excel or master the art of release or art of freedom. Because I referred this yesterday, the synonyms of nibbana or the enlightenment is at one point not synonyms but some natures explained is chago. So chaga is being able to give. Chago means you're open-hearted. So when you give holistically, no hooks and no nothing, no hidden agendas. Mutti is like freedom, to break free from that bond. Mutti, analayo, not to be a magnet. Okay, so you are not a magnet to your memories or your experiences. You don't. There's nothing that you can be a magnet to, because every incident is depending on a different condition. So there's no incident quite similar, because everything is different. So you can't be a magnet. So if you be a magnet, you are in a deluded state, because you think you are experiencing this and you think you are in control. When you think you are in experience, you're experiencing something, and when you actually think that you can manipulate this, you are in control, then you are in an ignorant or a deluded format, because you can't even control your physical problems, or you can't control your physical sensation in the next moment. That's why sometimes even when you sleep consciously or unconsciously, we start twisting because we feel uncomfortable. So everything is quite different. So learning not to personalize is what we are talking about here in terms of magnet, being a magnet. And the last one is Patinissago, is or nekkhamma, or to release, to be able to let go. So able to let go means, because sometimes in our heads it's not just the things that you like, it's not the things that you like stay there. Deep inside, sometimes we have a space for the things that you don't like, because with the fear and insecurity that you sometimes have, there are things that you don't enjoy, but you still, it pops up like a virus, it as a warning. It is good in terms of a warning for fight and flight, that sort of scenarios, but it's not something that we have to cherish and always, if it comes, we deal with it next time. Okay, whereas lots of us, sometimes we have certain things deep in our memories. As much as those positive and good and nice things that you like, there are things that you fear and you don't like, they stay in our head as well. A negative experience, for example, someone might do something to you, and we fear that next time this previous experience will bring that fright within us, and we always because we can't let go, we always, in a shock sometimes, or sometimes we are looking for, we fear with that insecure feeling, even a person that you talk to, sometimes, I remember one time when I had my car parked in a street, it got vandalized. So that incident is always in my memory. Now, when I park my car next time, I park with fear. Now, that is because that memory, came at the forefront, and then this experience or this moment, there's no guarantee that, the incident that happened like 5 years ago will again happen here now. But sometimes I still might park my car with fear, and I look around and see what the environment is. Now that is because deep inside we haven't been able to let go of certain things. And especially with those negative experiences, when someone tells you something or tells you off, we sometimes become so egoistic and so silly that we actually personalize the tell off, or personalize this, the words that someone told you. I mean, if you are a child listening, sometimes, I can just use a simple example like a stupid. If someone tells you stupid and tells you off very badly, it's the 6-letter word STUPID, and we personalize ourselves with that word, and we feel angry. We personalize ourselves. You see, you identify yourself with those 6 letters. But if someone scolded with you in a language that you don't understand, you might just shrug it off. But when you understand the meaning of the 6 letters, the stupid, and you then start identifying yourself with the word stupid, then you feel offended. So we have to learn how to let go and not to personalize ourselves in situations, because when we personalize, we feel hurt more, we feel that we can't forgive, we feel that this was a purposeful attack, and there are lots of events like this that we think we can talk about, that we can't let go. Experiences at work, experiences with neighbors, experiences with with particularly someone you don't like, and you might not want to face this person next time, but but having this negativity in your, or this emotion playing with you, if you cling on to it, if you cherish it, then you are always suffering. You're always suffering. So we have to learn how to let go. Learn how to let go our personal grudges, for example. There's no point holding a grudge because of one small incident. What's the point of holding a grudge with the red traffic light when it is red? You might be in a really difficult situation. For example, maybe you're going for an interview, but then you are having like 5 red traffic lights stopping you to get there on time. For example, punctuality. Then what's the point of getting angry with the red traffic light? There's no point, personalizing that red traffic light and saying, this is what made me get late. This is what made me not get the job. So it is your personal silliness to personalize certain incidents. So we have to be very mindful that holding on to some negative things actually cause more damage to your mental health. Holding on to certain things, negative especially, negative experiences, because they happen in the past. You cannot change what happened in the past. You cannot go back and make the traffic light go away and make your journey easy. It's not a time travel issue. You cannot change what happened. All these emotional bags are something negative, with negative experience, and they are simply memories, and no matter how much they come to your mind, you cannot rewrite the story behind it. But instead of holding those negative memories, we learn how to let go. Just throw away, put it in the bin. Throw your anger in the bin, throw your ego in the bin, throw your why hold on to those negative grudges. I have used this a lot of times. You can see this is a glass of water. If I put a tea bag, okay, and if I leave it there, the more I leave the tea bag, the darker the water becomes contaminated and germinated throughout. So this now water is getting like browner and browner, darker and darker, and because it is cold water, it takes time. But if it was hot water, you can see that this is quickly getting dark. The tea color, and the water is gaining the color from the tea bag. Now I can show this bit later on after meditation. So you can see like that, when that memory of pain comes into your head, when that memory of anger or that negative experience comes to your head, it suddenly spreads, germinates this peaceful mind. It suddenly makes this bitter, you don't want to have it, but it still comes and haunts you. Why can't you just throw it in the bin? Lots of people actually, sometimes think about certain things that happened long time ago. It is like throwing this tea bag into the bin, and next day you go and take the same tea bag and make another cup of tea. You go on the next day, you do the same thing. So let's not bring in the same thing to our mind, and see it's getting darker and darker. Let's not bring the same incident, and because the more you actually bring that, the more you have negative hormones coming out of your brain, and you are becoming unhealthy. So when we learn how to let go of that, we talk of love and kindness, we talk of freedom. You are free. You're free of anger. You're not germinated with anger. You're free of anger. And when there is free of anger, your mind is so peaceful. Then you start developing love, kindness. We appreciate each other. We start, we know that we all are in an independent state, but we all are interconnected. You depend on your mobile phone. When we depend on the Wi-Fi, you depend on the electricity, you depend on the fridge, you depend on the cooker. So we need to look after them. We depend on, as humans, we depend on each other, relationships, brotherhoods or sisterhood, neighbors. We all depend on each other. There's no point, working on this because when you hold on to a negative emotion, it becomes habitual memory, and the retention rate always is as high as we said. So the more negative, the more harmful emotions you start working on it, the more you actually become painful. I mean, if you want to test yourself, you can try this game with everyone. Make 2 columns, and on one side write positive emotions, and then do a minute challenge. How many words of positive words can you come up with? From happy, joy, perhaps excitement, and what else can you come up with? It's very difficult. Now think of the negative emotions. When I did this with my students who came for meditation at the center, they listed 15 emotions in like 15 seconds. Boredom, angry, frustration, irritation, and disappointment, and like that they came with a long list. Why? That is what is being playing up in their mind. That is in the top, in their conscious level. That is what they are always talking about. We never talk about the positive side. So it's always the thing, it's always anger, it's always hate, it's revenge, it's bitterness, it's boredom, and all of these are the negative emotions that people normally deal with. That is because of our personal expectation, the personal ego that people might have, personal fixed views, personal ego that develops into personality. So when you learn how to let go from freeing yourself, we don't create that gap between the reality and you. The more we bring this ego, the more we bring our likes and dislikes, the more we bring our fixed views, our prejudiced views, religious, social, cultural, political views, the more the gap is created between us and the other. But when we learn how to let go of all of those things, it's like throwing away or discard the tea bag. There you go. If you throw this tea bag, it becomes a perfect cup of tea. Deal with it, throw it away, and never visit the tea bag in the bin and make another cup of tea. And then that gap slowly reduces between you and the other, and there is harmony, there is peace of mind. The wider the gap, every time this emotion comes, the gap becomes wider. It's like the sore. If you scratch a sore in a wound, it will never heal. So we need to learn how to actually throw away things that actually make the gap between us and the other, so that there is peace in your own mind. Okay, so therefore we need to learn how to let go. So the first wholesome deed, or the meritorious deed is charity. We start with the things that you like, but as I said, we don't end up with we go beyond and talk about letting go of things you don't like as well. So it's not of letting go of things of you like, because that is easy. You're going to have it somehow. You got some money in the bank, but it's about the things that you don't touch. It's not tangible, this emotion. What you don't like is not tangible sometimes, but you need to learn how to let go of your mind. So when you use the word parichaga or nekkamma in Buddhism, or letting go as right intention in Buddhism, it is letting go of the mind. So that's why I said yesterday, when you learn how to give, don't give with hooks, don't give with hidden agendas. Always free yourself from what you give away. Then it becomes giving up, not giving away. So we learn how to actually master the giving, so that we have the spiritual benefit in you, that you are not tormenting yourself with the things that you don't like as well. Because if you know the incident of Devadatta, he could not let go of a small profit. He could not let go of a small incident. And it is in the Jataka stories, which is the life stories of the Buddha's previous births. So the number one story is about that story where this Devadatta in his previous life could not let go of the profit as a merchant that he could have had. So the Bodhisattva, or the to-be Buddha, had the profit, and then he started getting this grudge, and then he died of a heart attack or have that grudge. Then he decided. He said he never wanted to forgive the Buddha, for that incident. And then what happened was, it came life for every life. If they are born together in the story, there is a revenge incident. And during the Buddha's time as well, Devadatta tried to kill the Buddha twice. And once when the Buddha was meditating down of a mountain, Devadatta threw or rolled a big rock to kill the Buddha, and then it didn't touch, but it hurt the Buddha with a small splint stone. And the second time, he intoxicated with the help of Ajatasattu, which we are going to deal next tomorrow. The Gatha in the next Gatha is the story, so I don't want to ruin the story. But he intoxicated with the help of Ajatasattu to kill the Buddha and become the leader of the community of monks. So you can see that he couldn't let go of that anger long time ago, and then suffered throughout in every life. And even in the last life, when the Buddha had attained enlightenment, he also could have attained enlightenment, but because of the actions of his own, that he repented, and he never could let go of the anger. He never attained enlightenment, but he was living with the Buddha. And that's why in Sri Lanka there's a song as well. You can stay with the Buddha. You might have stayed with the Buddha, but we are not fortunate enough unless we learn how to let go of our likes and dislikes, and both of it becomes a clinging point because of our ignorance. So when you use the word avijja paccaya sankhara, we create these mental formations of likes and dislikes because we try to attach a personality or a person to it, called I am experiencing this, I, and then that becomes such a self-centered looking at every experience, and from morning to evening becomes the I-centered, self-centered. And when that is the case, we're always suffering. And this mental formation is not created by someone else, not an outside. It wasn't the traffic light. It wasn't the other person scolding you. The other person may have forgotten about it. or it's not of an external agency, divine. The suffering is caused by yourself. You created that mental formation, you created that mental clinging, and this is sometimes widely discussed in suttas as sankhara dukkha. The suffering is self-created. So therefore, the ability to let go, the ability to be generous, which starts from there, letting go, is what we practice, to maintain this peace of mind and to be free from every emotions that would possibly bring negative experiences to you. Okay, so in meditation, this is what we practice. Learn how to let go. So this is mindfulness, because every moment we are experiencing something from our senses, and these sensory experiences are like channels. So when you're meditating, if your mind is in the seeing channel, so we call it eye consciousness. So we have to be aware that we are seeing, and when we see, we are seeing as it is, not the way you want to see it. Because when you expect something, you start judging it already before you even know. That is habitual pattern of humans. So when we close our eyes and we actually see something, you might like it, you might not like it. Now that is already a judgment made. So when we become mindful, we don't actually add values to what we see. We don't add values, whether it is a sight, whether it is an audio, whether it is a taste or a feeling sensation. We start adding values from the memory bank. Remember I said about the memory bank? So it's always this comparison that we make and then come to a conclusive proclamation. We start making a judgment, and this judgmental nature is what we need to actually be free from. So when we are in the seeing channel, we don't see with our filtered knowledge, we see it as it is, not the way you want to see it. So when you see the way you want to see it, you are never satisfied. So you always make a critical judgment. You put it into two zones, likes and dislikes. So mindful person will not create these two zones of likes and dislikes. Will always see it as it is. So if a sound is a sound, when we say nice sound, we've already liked it, made a judgment. Because then we forget that that nice sound is going to be not nice after a couple of times you hear it. Or sometimes you might not even know it. So mindfulness means trying to see it as a sound, and then leave it there. We don't dwell in it. We don't indulge ourselves with that sound. We hear the sound as hearing, not listening. When you listen, you are actively doing something. So when you hear a sound, we're not hearing. Not even what you hear, ambulance sound, or that's a Toyota sound, or that's a sports car sound. So we don't actually start using our knowledge to filter the information, but simply as hearing, because that is the object, this is the ear, and this is the awareness. So awareness, when all those three are there, we identify it as sound. Otherwise, we shouldn't miss that opportunity of being in the present moment. Whatever your mind is doing, be there. So we practice this letting go in meditation for that reason. So when you do mindfulness meditation, you must have heard that everyone says, let go. So let go of the hearing. Once you noted it, we let go of the hearing. Once you note the pain in your leg, we let go of it. We don't delve there and start, my leg is hurting. When you that is what we call proliferating into lots of your fixed views, or in likes, dislikes, and stories after story after story after story. So we are not mindful. We shouldn't make that sound take us to a long history, or we shouldn't make that sound make us fear and anxious of the next moment. Sound is sound. Okay, so we have habit of two things. One is we go in the past with a story, an incident, to our memory bank, and then start comparing and proliferating more. Or we after that we might once we identify that we might be fearful and anxious or worry about future, this is both the result of the perhaps not having mindfulness and not being able to let go. So we have to be very mindful and develop this, slowly. It's a transforming of your mind. So when you sit down and close your eyes after a few minutes, as soon as you close your eyes, you'll have your mind wandering a lot. That's the nature of the mind. It's okay. Let the mind wander, but be mindful of it. When you know that your mind is wandering, you have become mindful. So if you are closing your eyes and you see something, okay, seeing. That is what is happening now. You are seeing something. So note seeing. And then you come back to breathing. So if you let go of that, you come back to breathing, which is your home. We try to focus on the breathing. So breathing becomes home. So we look at the seeing, not what you are seeing, just seeing. That awareness is seeing. So I said the seeing channel, hearing channel, tasting channel, feeling channel, thinking channel, the 6 senses and 5 senses plus your mind. So if it is thinking, so you're aware that it is thinking, then you're mindful. So you just note thinking 3 times. Let it go, come back to breathing. Feeling, let it go, come back to breathing. You might be talking to someone, you might be singing, singing or talking. Let it go, come back to breathing. So 3 things. Recognize what you're doing. Release, that means let it go. Return, come back to your breathing. That is your home. So recognize, release, return. So we try to, practice this so that, when things like emotions and when things on bitter experiences come, we learn how to let go. And then we have the peace of mind. Then we starting to love each other, care for each other, because we know these experiences are what actually, sometimes what I said is bringing this unhappiness in our minds. So today, we're going to now take this about 15-20 minutes to meditate. So I have 3 requests if you are staying for meditation with us. First thing is, have a very balanced body. So sit straight, not slanting to left or right. So if you are on a sofa or a chair, make sure your back is also not leaning. So you have to come forward, because that upright body helps you to breathe properly. And the second instruction is, you have to make sure your fingers are not fiddling with things. So the ideal way is to, like the Buddha statue, put your right hand on your left palm and then place them gently on your lap. But for some reason, if you cannot do that, make sure you can just keep your hands still and to yourself. If it is on your knee, make sure you keep it there until the end of meditation. So don't start massaging your leg or playing with your clothing. And the third request is, now gently close your eyes, so eyes off the screen. So gently close your eyes. So don't think of anything, but just remember the 3 R's. Okay, so forget about everything that I said, but only the 3 R's, because that is what you have to do as you practice your meditation. Okay, so first of all, just be mindful of the way your body is. And be happy and pleased that you are well enough to attend this online session. So rejoice in your good health and rejoice in your ability. Praise yourself that you have committed yourself. It's a worthwhile event, this time. So be happy. And if there are people around you, like family members, appreciate their presence if they are sitting with you. Appreciate their support that you have for this sitting. And also appreciate, their good health. And if there are other members who haven't joined you, don't criticize, don't comment. Just be aware of their behavior. And at least they are allowing you this space, so be thankful for them. And be mindful of what they are doing. Be mindful of the infrastructure around your sitting. It could be a living room, sitting room, or bedroom, dining room. Just be mindful of the environment for a while. So you can see that your body and the environment has become a bit it's still, it's not in motion. Before 6:30 you were very active. Now you are peaceful. Your body is sitting quietly, peacefully. So be mindful of that. And to make our mind quite similarly still, we do the scanning exercise, so we gradually become still in the mind as well. So what I do is the technique of scanning of the body. So when I call out stations, whatever your mind grasped, such as touch or coldness or pressure or any sensation, just be mindful of those and stay there. That is what you sensed. Be aware of its presence. No comments, don't like or dislike. Don't start looking for things, but just be mindful of that attention that the mind grasped. So this is to do with the body and the mind alone. So for example, I'm going to say feet now. So as I'm sitting on the chair, my feet are firm on the ground, on the floor, and now I am sensing the connection, the contact. So my mind is in the contact, and I'm just being aware of the contact and the sensation, nothing more. I'm not going to start thinking about whether I'm wearing socks or not, or what color the socks are. I'm just going to be mindful of that contact, because that was where my mind went. Okay, so feet. And gradually to your ankles. And you can sense the touch of your outer legs if you are sitting on the floor, and the inner ankles touching parts of your body or clothing. Just be mindful of that. Your knees. Gradually to your sitting posture or your bottom. Just observe the touch or pressure and just stay there for a while. And just watch whatever your mind grasped. released. Gradually up your spine, straight back. Observe the straightness and to your shoulders, and just watch your shoulders or any sensation. As you gradually come down to your elbows, and your hands, the touch, the warmth, just observe that, observe the presence of any sensation. And up your neck to your head. And your face, particularly perhaps sensation around your eyes, because that's the only thing that could be in motion. And now for the next 2 minutes, scan from head to toe without my guidance. Every station, just observe any sensation or anything that your mind grasps. No comment. Don't like or dislike or look for things. As soon as it grasps anything in the station, be mindful of its presence. Simply watch that experience. Be with it. Okay, so mind is very still at the moment, being able to gradually train to look at one thing. Now bring your entire attention to something that was always there but we never noticed, is the breath. So now apply your attention, this mindfulness, to the breathing and simply watch that air going through your nostrils and come out. If you're new to meditation, use the counting method, which might help you to stay with the object of breath. So pinpoint the start of breathing in. So note as 1. The continuity will be 2, and the last moment of the in-breath will be 3. And immediately sometimes we might exhale, so the starting becomes 3, continuity of 2, and the last moment of the exhalation becomes 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And just train your mind to be there. Breathing in, it's not the counting you have to be mindful of, it's the breath. Okay, so just observe, make your mind try to be there on the breath. Remember, this is mindfulness, so if your mind travels, gets distracted, remember to recognize what it is. Don't stay there. Let it go. Come back to breathing. So as you breathe in a long breath, you might notice, so you can notice it's a long breath. And when you release, it's a long out breath. If it is a short breath, note that it is a short breath. Note that it is a long breath and a short breath. So breathing in and breathing out. So for those who are advanced, we can take the breath as a whole. Just watch that entire respiratory pattern and take the breath as a whole, in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. So after a couple of breaths, you can notice that there is a pattern or regularity. And that is because your mind is calm. Our breath is always connected to the mind. Whatever is in the mind is sometimes expressed the way the breathing pattern is. So when it is peaceful, we have a very peaceful in-breath and peaceful out-breath. So when there is peace of mind, it is very easy to develop loving kindness, and it is the best of the times to wish someone well, including yourself. So contemplate on these, and if it doesn't relate to you, you can skip the stations as well. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May I be free from anger, frustration and jealousy. May I be free from anxiety and worries. May I be free from pain and suffering. And that is a genuine wish for yourself, for your well-being. And similarly, think of others as well without any conditions or without any expectation. Similar well-wishing thoughts. May my parents, grandparents, teachers, uncles and aunts, husband, wife or partner, children and grandchildren, brothers and sisters, cousins, nephews and nieces, friends, colleagues at work, neighbors. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from anger, frustration and jealousy. May they be free from anxiety and worries. May they be free from pain and suffering. May all living beings, including your pets, birds, animals and insects that come to your garden, seen and unseen beings, including all sentient beings, be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from pain and suffering. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be free from pain and suffering. the end of today's session. Apologies if this extended extra 15 minutes. So today you have been participating to our daily Buddha Puja, chanting, reflection on Dhamma and meditation, which we broadcast live every day at 6:30. So this broadcast or the reflection of Dhamma will continue until 24th August, and today's sponsorship was made by Mrs. Jiva and Mr. Sarat Ekanaika, especially to remember the departed parents, sisters and brothers. So all the merit accumulated today by observing 5 precepts, offering dana, offering flowers, incense and soft drinks to the Buddha, and offering other requisites for the temple, and listening to the Dhamma, listening to the chanting and meditating. So all of these are dana, sila, bhavana. May all merit accumulated be conducive to the departed parents, sisters and brothers for their well-being. If they are in an unfortunate state of existence, may they recover and overcome those difficulties or negativities. If they are in a happy state, may they rejoice in our pincomers, and may they make their lives better and prosperous wherever they are. Eventually may they attain the blissful state of Nibbana. So with those kind intention, we say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu and share merit. So Mrs. Jiva and Sarat Ekanaik also would like to bless their children. So daughter Dinuki, her partner Graham, and their children, their granddaughter Rania, and also daughter Dulika and son-in-law Chaminda, and their children Lily and Esme. So, and also brother Mangala. So may they all enjoy good health, happiness, success and prosperity. May they continue to enjoy good health and be happy always. May all the meritorious deed be conducive for their well-being, and also may all their righteous aspirations be fulfilled. And you as an online community, thank you for joining, and also may you be blessed, and may all your righteous aspirations be fulfilled as well. So with those kind aspirations, we come to a close of today's online broadcast. Thank you for joining us so far, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow again at 6:30. So thank you. Have a nice evening. Sadhu, sadhu.